I'm James Cridland, the radio futurologist, and this is a Radioland Extra for December the 9th, the stupid bit of Australia's social media ban for kids. Governments everywhere are not very good at technology, but the Australian government excels in almost deliberately not understanding it. In 2017, Australia had a Prime Minister called Malcolm Turnbull, and all indications were that this was a man who knew his stuff. As a lawyer, Turnbull had successfully defended Peter Wright, a former MI5 official who wrote Spycatcher, leading to the book being published in Australia. Then Turnbull bought a $500,000 stake in the Australian ISP OzEmail, selling it just before the dot-com bubble burst for $57 million. So a man who understood freedom of speech and a man who understood the internet. Sadly, Two Brains Turnbull went on to attempt to pass a law to force tech companies to give a back door for encrypted messages to the government. Encryption can't be weakened for just one set of people. The laws of mathematics are that if you weaken encryption to let the government in, you also weaken encryption for the rest of us, breaking online banking and payments as well as chats. The laws of mathematics are very commendable, he said, but the only law that applies in Australia is the law of Australia, in the sort of smug logic-twisting nonsense that was to prove his downfall 12 months later, yay, when we got Scott Morrison instead. Oh. Turnbull isn't alone, and this week has seen Australia enacting a ban on social media for children under 16. The law forces social media companies to stop allowing under 16s from holding an account on their platforms, which is good, I think. But here's what the law doesn't stop. The law doesn't make it illegal for kids to access them. The only people who'll get fined are the social media companies. Further, the law lets kids access the social media websites anyway. They just can't hold an account. So use of a VPN makes no real difference. It won't be illegal to use one to access social media, but if companies let someone from Australia use social media through a foreign VPN, they'll be fined. And the law doesn't stop many social media companies at all. Someone who's under 16 can pop along to Murdoch's Courier Mail website, open an account and leave an angry comment, and that's absolutely fine. Instead, companies have to be named by the government, and there are only 10 companies actually named, like Facebook and Instagram and Reddit and Twitch, and I'm fine with these companies being banned for under 16s actually. But another company named by the Australian government under this law is YouTube. Now, YouTube isn't a social media platform. It's a video service. There are comments on YouTube, but as we've established already, there are comments on the Courier Mail website too, and they're not banned. Being the parent of a daughter under the age of 16, I'm more aware than most about the protections that YouTube has in place. I can ensure that she's forced to use Safe Search, which is supposed to successfully stop her from unearthing bad things. I can also ensure that if she does find bad things, she can't play them. Google's Family Link is pretty good software, all things considered. She'll still be able to use YouTube. The law doesn't stop that. She just can't use YouTube with her account, which means that she gets potentially the worst of YouTube, and I can't do a thing about it. Her account's a premium account, so I pay to get rid of the advertising when she uses YouTube. Except the Australian government, in its brilliance, won't let my daughter use YouTube under her premium account, so she'll have to see all of the advertising. And YouTube won't know that she's under 16. She could opt out of seeing gambling or alcohol or all kinds of stuff, but to do that she'd need to log in, which would mean she'd have a YouTube account which she isn't allowed. And she can't use YouTube Music. If you're unaware, YouTube Music is a bit like Spotify. Well, very much like Spotify. It's got every song in it and you can listen to all of the songs just like Spotify, but I can't let her use YouTube Music anymore because that requires access to the account that she can't have access to, and I can allow her to use Spotify. So stupidly, under this law, my daughter can still use YouTube and access videos on it. I can no longer control what she sees on the service. I can no longer get rid of the advertising there. I can't even control what ads she sees, and nor can she. And she no longer gets access to YouTube Music either. For music then, we've had to shift to Spotify, which offers an identical service, but which apparently isn't a social network, even though she can look up her friends on there and message them. And I've retained YouTube Premium for my use, so I don't see the ads, so I'm now paying for 2 music services and not 1. And none of this makes much sense to me. Although perhaps the weird front page of the Courier Mail makes it a little bit more obvious that Murdoch thinks this is a very good idea indeed. Here is the Courier Mail for December the 10th. Today, childhood will be rebooted. Today is the day humanity reboots childhood, with Australian kids the first in the world to be banned by law from using social media until they turn 16. Not true. Lives will be changed. Lives will be saved. There are laws that will unshackle our kids from an online world they are not old enough to handle, freeing them to grow up in a society that protects them. Social media harms our children. Let's just let them be kids. Editorial, page 52. Parents' Guide, page 4 and 5. It's all a bit terrifying, really, isn't it? Bless them. And until next time, keep listening.